point in a three-dimensional space. In this module, you will learn to locate a point in a three-dimensional space. A point in xy plane can be represented by its x and y coordinates. But how do we determine the position of a point in a three-dimensional space? A minimum of 3 coordinates are required to represent the position of a point Q in space, and generally it is represented by x, y and z coordinates. The perpendicular distance of a point from yz plane is called its x coordinate. The perpendicular distance of a point from xz plane is called its y coordinate, and the perpendicular distance of a point from xy plane is called its z coordinate. The previous discussion helps us to generalize that the distance of a point along the x-axis is called as x coordinate, the distance along the y-axis is known as y coordinate, and the distance along the z-axis represents z coordinate of a point in the three-dimensional space. Notice that x coordinate always comes first, y coordinate comes second, and z coordinate comes third. Since the origin is at the intersection of these three axes, and the distance of the origin is equal to 0 from all the axes, its coordinates are 0, 0, 0. The sign of the coordinates of a point help us to determine the octant in which the point lies. Since the first octant contains positive x, y and z axes, all the coordinates of the points in this octant are positive. Similarly, second octant consists of negative x-axis and positive y and z-axis. So, the x-coordinate of the points lying in this octant is negative, whereas y and z coordinates are positive. Further, the third octant consists of negative x and y axis and positive z axis. So the x and y coordinates of the points lying in this octant are negative, whereas the z coordinate is positive. Next, the fourth octant consists of positive x and z axis and negative y axis. So, the x and z coordinates of the points lying in this octant are positive, whereas the y coordinate is negative. Similarly, in fifth octant, all coordinates of a point are positive except z coordinate. In sixth octant, all coordinates of a point are negative except y coordinate. In seventh octant, all coordinates of a point are negative. And finally, in eighth octant, all coordinates of a point are negative except x coordinate. Let's summarize what you have learned in this module. The coordinates of a point in three-dimensional geometry are always represented in the form of triplet like x, y, z, where x, y and z are distances from the yz, zx and xy planes, respectively. X, y and z axes intersect each other at a point called origin, whose coordinates are 0, 0, 0. The y and z coordinates of any point lying on x-axis are 0. The x and z coordinates of any point lying on y-axis are 0. The x and y coordinates of any point lying on z-axis are 0. The signs of the coordinates of a point help us to determine the octant in which the point lies.